Hey everybody, welcome to Abundant Source Raw on YouTube, and in this video I want to dive a little deeper into the notion of cooking our food for more nutrition, better digestion, and satisfying our needs. So, what are the benefits of cooking your food? Well, one of the big arguments is the lycopene argument, right? When you cook tomatoes, then it releases the nutrient lycopene, and you get a lot more lycopene from cooking your tomatoes. But that's really one of the only great arguments as far as nutritional value goes. Then there's also, for vegetables and leafy greens, if you steam your vegetables or cook them up, then it's going to destroy the strong cellulose wall, which our body can't really break open by itself. And so you're destroying the cell wall to release the nutrition that is trapped in the cells of the vegetables, and now your body can utilize those nutrients. Another thing people that cook their food like to say is that it helps with digestion. I mean, how could you possibly get your grains in, and how could you get your starches and have a well-balanced, nutritious meal? How could you eat your meat if you didn't cook your food? How could you even digest it? How could you digest grains, hard grains? It would be nearly impossible to digest without cooking it. So obviously, we have to cook our food to get these certain types of foods and nutrition into our body. And those are some of the big arguments that somebody will have against a raw food diet. Pretty good arguments, but let's start with the lycopene. So, say we're making some tomato soup and we want to cook it up so that way we can release the lycopene and get that nutrition out of it. Well, okay, maybe it does release some more lycopene for your body. What's happening to the other nutrients? What's happening to the enzymes, the living enzymes, the living factor when it comes to your food? What happens to the biophotons, the cell's way of communication? It's what makes you feel connected to everything. 100% of the enzymes and the biophotons are going to be destroyed by cooking your food, which are two of some of the most important nutrients you can have. And then it's also going to distort and destroy a lot of the nutritional value of all the other different types of nutrients inside the tomatoes and whatever else you're cooking. What would happen if you stuck your hand into a fire? It would start to degenerate, it would start to die, it would start to, all the vitamins and minerals and all the living cells would be destroyed if you stuck your hand in fire. But it's the same thing that's happening to your food. When you cook your food, it's destroying the living cells, it's destroying the enzymes and the biophotons and most of the other nutrition inside of it. So, okay, maybe you're releasing a little bit more of the lycopene, but, well, you're losing pretty much everything else. And then, basically same thing with the vegetables and the leafy greens. Yeah, you're breaking open the cell walls, but you're destroying all of the other nutrients in there. You're releasing some of the nutrition in the cell wall just so that way it can be destroyed thereafter. And then people say, well, then how are we supposed to get the nutrition out of these fruits and vegetables? And I guess blending and juicing could be one way, probably the best way you could do that. But if you really take a step back and look at this, I mean, for just 1 second, stop thinking about nutrition ratios and how much nutrients are in these vegetables and grains, and really think about what we would go for naturally in the wild in its raw natural state. And in my opinion, we wouldn't be going for the vegetables and the leafy greens in their raw natural state. They're mostly bitter and just don't have a lot of taste. If we had a choice between leafy greens and fruit ripe on the tree, a wild human would go for the fruit every single time. And same with any other scenario as far as meat, starches, grains, dairy, whatever else. If it's all in its raw natural state, a human would pick the fruit every single time. So the argument of how are we going to eat these things if we don't cook them? Well, maybe you should think about that for a second and think, well, if we have to cook it to eat it, should we really be eating it? Do you think it's really a part of our natural diet if we have to do something that's unnatural, if we have to burn this food type just to be able to ingest it? It doesn't make any sense. So think twice. Don't just go off of the food pyramid, and don't just go off of what everybody else is telling you, what you're seeing on TV that's telling you you need all these different food groups. I mean, do some critical thinking, think for yourself, and take a look at this. I mean, just use a little bit of sense and look at what we would be doing in a natural environment. Do some research and follow it until it really starts to make sense to you. What makes the most sense to you, not what these nutritionists and doctors and whoever else are saying, the media. What makes the most sense to you as to what we should be eating? Should we be eating tasteless, gluey starches like rice and potatoes? Should we be eating hard grains? Should we be going out and chasing wild animals and hunting them down and tearing them open and eating their flesh and all their other body parts? We go with what's natural and do the least amount of work for the best tasting food in its raw natural state. All we have to do is walk outside. In an ideal world, we could just walk outside, pick some ripe fruit. It would be sweet and juicy and have the perfect fuel for our body, the simple sugars in their natural form. That's what our body runs best off of. Wouldn't really have to exert any energy except maybe climbing a tree, which is naturally what we're designed for. Look at our anatomy. Look at our closest relatives, the great apes, the anthropods. Take a look at our physiology and our biology. If you really take a good look into this stuff, it makes no sense that we should be cooking our food and eating the things that we're eating. Does cooking foods help with our digestion? Well, for grains, yeah, it would. It's going to soften it up, and it's going to not be like eating a big, coarse, hard piece of grain that's going to destroy your intestines. Now you've got a little soft, gluey, still hard piece of grain as far as your body's concerned. It doesn't want these coarse meals. It just wants the juicy, watery, high water content fruit that is super easy to digest, absorb, assimilate, and excrete. And those are the only things you need to worry about. What digests the easiest, what assimilates the easiest, and what gets excreted the easiest. And the answer is fruit. So yeah, there are some benefits, you could say, to cooking your food, but that's only beneficial if it's food that we're not naturally meant to eat. There's no benefit to cooking fruit. It's going to completely destroy all the nutrition and all the balanced ratios that we need for our body. Like I said, it's going to destroy 100% of the enzymes and the biophotons, which are some of the most important things that you need. Biophotons are how our cells communicate. It's what makes us feel one with everything. And it's why we've lost our sixth sense, our connection with all living things, is because we started cooking our foods and we destroyed the biophotons, and nobody understands what's going on here, and people don't know what they're missing because they've been sick their whole life, and they don't know what true health feels like. They don't know what true connectivity feels like to all living things. And it's because we've been eating the wrong things, we've been cooking our food, and it's caused a lot of problems and bad implications. So if you have to cook your food in order for you to eat it, then you're not supposed to be eating it. I mean, it's that simple. We should be eating raw foods. What could cooking our food ever do that could benefit us? We're trying to improve on something that is perfect. Food is perfect in its raw natural state for the specific species that are supposed to eat it. What in God's name would cooking food ever do that's beneficial for us, other than let us eat foods that we aren't really meant to eat and then do damage to us? That's all that's happening, is we're cooking the food so that way we can just eat whatever the heck we want and think it's okay. And cooking our food just has opened a door to very terrible applications, and it's destroyed a lot of our nutrition that we're getting. It's going against the laws of nature, and if you're not in line with nature's laws, then you're gonna have problems. So get realigned with nature, start eating the raw food, start eating our natural diet. We're frugivores. We should be eating mostly fruit. And get reconnected. Find out what you're missing. You can't even comprehend what you're missing if you've never done this. Go on the raw vegan diet for a few months, do an extended juice fast. That's probably one of the easiest ways for most people, is just do a long, at least 30-day juice fast and see what you're missing. Start to feel what I'm describing to you guys, because it's going to take you to a whole nother level, and you'll want to share this with everyone you can, because it's just the best thing you can do for yourself and your health and the environment and everything around you. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please comment your thoughts below, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you like the content I put out. I'll see you guys in the next video.